Well, everybody, welcome. This is our Labor Day weekend version of Elevation Call. And thank you so much for taking the time out to be here live. You can also find this recording on our Team Unlimited YouTube channel. This is Lisa Bell Henson and my husband, Hal Henson. And you are here to hear our Elevation Call, which is really not just about elevating your Zilis business, but really about elevating your life. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. But first, we want to recap of the prior month of August with the leaderboard. So Hal Henson.
Absolutely.
Drum roll.
Yes. So this is the leaderboard for August, right? We just finished August. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as it ended for the month, which we always recognize, or we try to recognize weekly, but also at the end of the month. So we got several people on there. So at number 22, out of Georgia, Kimberly Watkins, congratulations, finished August at number 22 on enrollments. At number 18, a fairly new person to the team, sponsored by Kristin Olander, is Wendy Burman out of California.
Who's logging in right now.
Logging in. Okay, logging in right now. Should we say it again?
Well, that's okay.
So she can hear us.
She's restarting her computer.
And then we just mentioned Kristin, so she's getting a double mention tonight, which is she's at number 7
for the whole month.
For the whole month of August. And I don't know how many times she's been on the leaderboard for the year.
And also, you guys, if you look at the leaderboard, the majority of the top 10 are from Latin America. So Kristin, I think you are number 1 in the United States for August. So that's really, really a big deal, especially when you can do it when you're on vacation. Just saying.
That's because of connections and a community like this and the teamwork.
And we're going to come back to you, Kristin, because there's more to say about that. Did you want to validate?
Yep, I do. So let's talk about personal volume for the month of August. And at number 24, Mary Rising out of Indiana. At number 15 is Heather Walsh out of New Jersey.
Good job, Heather.
Yes. And at number 8 is, I'm going to say it's Stephen Todd, but it's really probably Jenny Todd, really. At number 8 for last month on personal volume. And so anyway, personal volume is either for yourself, usually not on the leaderboard, just for yourself. Usually you have products that you're moving in a retail kind of way. And so therefore you're buying some kind of wholesale in our tiered pricing and then moving that for a retail margin.
Yeah.
Not always, but pretty much the people on the leaderboard are going to be that way.
And so just kind of diving in, you guys, I wanted to talk about something kind of serious, just because Zilis is a 7-year-old company. And my previous company that Kristin and I and Angela and several of us worked for was a 30-plus-year-old company. And those companies really grow and evolve over time, as Zilis has done. And I think most of us have seen a tremendous amount of change in the world, in the United States, in ourselves and our families over the last 2 years with the pandemic. But one of the things I really want to suggest to you guys, because this is what Hal and I are experiencing now, we're going to talk more and more about this, is that Zilis is part of the evolutionary journey that we are all going to our definite chief aim, or our why you were put on the planet, or your why. And this can be something that unfolds. And so what really attracted you to this Zilis business could have been, cannabinoids. It could have been a story of that. There's people that are part of Zilis prior to them bringing CBD on board. But this is something that's going to be evolving over time. And so today I really want to talk about some people who are having a lot of business success, and really what was their why, what brought them into the company, and really how are they doing this business right now to achieve success. And many of you guys have seen Kristin on the leaderboard. She's been on the leaderboard, top of the leaderboard over the last several months. And I have the privilege of getting to work with Kristin. We worked together in our previous lives and our previous business, and we work together really closely in the Zilis business. In fact, Kristin is one of those few people who do kind of sign up to talk to me and be accountable on a week to week basis. And so, Kristin, I just wanted to bring you on. We want to recognize your success and say congratulations to you. Congratulations to Eric, who has supported. He's a very big part of your business as well.
Well, can I just say too, that,
Please,
yeah, so as a part of them working together, but also separately, which is really a great decision. I know last week when Lisa and I did the presentation for the Freedom Call, Stephen introduced us and actually said, Hal and Lisa work this business together. It's not for everyone, and you have to find your way. That being, it's not for everyone to work it closely with your spouse. Now, a number of you, or your partner, however it is, a number of you do that, and it really is very supporting and helpful. One person's weakness or strength, kind of fills in the gap, you might say, for the others. But Eric also committed, I don't even know how long it's been, Eric, maybe a year. I don't know how long it's been, but Eric actually, he and I have a regular time that we actually talk business and life and strategy and how to be supportive, what his role is in their success. She gets all the credit and glory for it. And he's totally 100% absolutely, like, not only fine with it, it's actually his preference. So that's really cool. That's kind of like Brian Welch, would you like Susan to have all the glory? Yeah, he's just behind the scenes doing the stuff. Anyway.
So Kristin, two questions for you. What brought you to Zilis? Your why, kind of just what we were talking about, your definite chief aim. How does Zilis fit in? And then also, you've been on the leaderboard for the past few months. When did that process start? So 2 questions for you.
Okay, thank you. And also thank you, Hal, for bringing Eric in and for all that support, because it is about the community, about the support, about the connections. Like we started off this phone call when you said about this is really a phone call about connecting, and I have about connecting written down about 6 times because that's the topic tonight, pretty much for that. But I so appreciate being here with all of you. What brought me to Zilis is much like many of you, but really is because I'm here because I appreciate this community of such like-minded, lovely people who have so much in common of what I wanted in my life, of service and pay it forward culture, of really helping each other, and leadership and mentorship, but had different skills and backgrounds, we normally would not mix. And there was just this company with these incredible products, just what at that time, but what I saw was the leadership and mentorship of you and Hal and Stephen Thompson and others that are on this call. And so that unfolded for me. So I'm here because of the community, the culture, company, and the mentorship, and the ability to create my life in this lifestyle wellness platform. And so, I have all this belief system down now about all this stuff, but the turning point for me was when Stephen asked us a list of questions about our beliefs and company and this and this and this, and the last one was about self. And I took a look at myself and I said, boy, that's what's lacking. And that's when I asked you for help. I really needed more mentorship and coachability at that time, and to follow the system, so to speak. And so with practice, some things I've learned is to how to really connect with people that I'm just meeting, and then people that I've known in my life prior. And so what I do is I remember the value of not only just investing in myself, which is what this business gives us, this opportunity to really learn and grow. We've all heard it, if you're not growing and expanding, then, and your income's not, then it's you. And so I've had that opportunity to grow and expand myself, but my biggest treasure after that is people, and investing in people. And my dad showed me how to do that, to really align myself, to be discerning, and to get to know people, and to invest in them. So I like to investigate by asking a list of questions. I might meet them for the first time, and I can know too much. But what I've learned from Hal and mentorship and leadership is that I need to start asking questions, and I need to keep my mouth shut about everything that I know, and start counting on my finger. 1, 2, 3 questions relate to that. Oh, so kind of relate and connect, ask 3 more questions, relate and connect. And every time, if I know too much, I want to get in and tell my story or something. If I haven't counted off another 3 or 4 questions, and that's been a great practice, especially on airplanes and places like that. So I investigate by asking questions. I identify their needs and assess where we can add value, whether it's with hope or with health, the lifestyle freedoms that we've evolved into. You talked about evolving. That's what we're doing in this, leading edge health space, wellness space and everything. So by doing that, I know that I can somehow make a fit and add value to their life. And then I invite them to take a look, and talk to and connect with my greatest resource, which is you or Hal, or you and Hal. And if I've really listened, I've identified what they're looking for, I know the best fit, and I make that connection, and then I introduce them to you. And that's what I do. I need to hand them off. That's the next step, is to hand them off to you and to let you do your job at base camp. Because if I'm out here recruiting and connecting and assessing, then I know that I can hand them off to Lisa and Hal, or whoever it is really, there at the time, because you guys have been there for me every step of the way. That's my success, is because you're there for me. And using that system that works of hand-holding, and you taking the reins for Kimberly, who's on this call. She was a new recruit, a new friendship, and then an old friendship, Wendy Burman. And so by allowing you to do what you do, which is, how to become a presidential, how to build this business. And I can come back around and support and help her in the background and help her do with her people and other things. But by handing it off to you, then next I go back out and make connections, and I go out and I start investigating and inviting and introducing, and investing my time in people, which piggybacks off with Dr. Stephen and Jenny taught, the value of those relationships. By this time, I know enough to know, how much we want to invest, because you've done the legwork, that yes, they're in, or this is where they are. And then from there, you and I strategize together, which is that third part, So it's just this nice loop that goes round and round. And that's a big part of my success, again, because I've got a supportive husband who's, got some support himself, and who has really learned how to communicate and support me, and I'm learning how to communicate and support him. So it's a really interesting business, and it can bring a lot of abundance, opportunity, and value, and freedoms in so many ways. And with that, I'd like to say that there are 2 people on the line. One is Kimberly, who I met. She was someone who I connected with. I was looking for someone specifically. The other word I like to bring is intentional. I'm intentionally seeking people. I want to help people. I want to put them on product and get them to feel better, but I also want people who can carry the message. I intentionally went out looking for Kimberly, and there she was. She is bringing to the table, look, here she is, talking to people and sharing the message. But what did she do? She was coachable. She got on the phone with you. You coached her. Now she's moving things, and she and I are working on things down here. Then who we're going to be talking to next is Wendy, who was somebody else that I knew in the business that we were in. I call my story Waiting for Wendy because I've been waiting for her. I think it's been like 4 years. But when you first introduced this to me, Lisa, she was one of the first people that I thought of, because she had a pay it forward heart. She was servant leadership. She did a project with me that she wasn't paid for. I saw her and I said, I will pay her back one day. I know that the universe will reward. And I knew, and in my heart, because when you've experienced this long enough, that if somebody catches this vision, that you really are gifting them. And so I was waiting for her to, we danced together, we cried together, we've gone through people's sicknesses together, we've gone through our own, we've gone through business stuff. And here we are. The timing was just perfect for me to invite her in, introduce her to you, for you to reestablish yourselves and stuff. And with that, I'd like to bring Wendy in, who has, again, and like Kimberly and like everybody on this call, just a purpose and a place, and a wonderful life ahead. If we do
Awesome, Kristin. Well, Hal, did you have something you want to say?
No,
Okay, okay.
I may bring it back up, but I
Okay.
want to say, if I bring it back up, I took some serious notes on your share right there. I mean, I'm here sitting here writing this down, and I want to return to it because I want to make sure everybody else gets what I got. And so if you don't have a piece of paper, where you take notes, I want to encourage you to do that, because I'm not going to repeat what she said, but I'm going to summarize it because it's just a great,
It's
there's a
powerful.
great outline that I want to make sure everybody gets. So,
And what I want to make sure you guys understand is that even with Kimberly as well as with Wendy, this was not an overnight thing. So Kristin invested in that relationship 4 years ago. She and Wendy have, worked on projects together, and I was very, very fortunate that Kristin was doing the system. So she wasn't just doing this alone. She and I had had conversations about Wendy. We both love Wendy. We worked with her in the past. She's got a pharmaceutical background. She's just what I consider to be a badass. I mean, she's just a very successful businesswoman with an amazing heart. And so when Kristin said, hey, let's do a Zoom together, and then Kristin got called away, couldn't do it, I was the one that was able to kind of carry the ball and meet with Wendy. And so Wendy, I'm so glad. Thank you for choosing us over your party for at least the next 30 minutes. And for being on, because I wanted you to answer the same question, is just why Zilis for you? Super successful as you are. What really kind of attracted you to this team?
Well, thank you for that. I'm getting chills, and that's I don't take compliments well, but I'm learning to take compliments again. So thank you. Well, the first thing that attracted me was, of course, you and Kristin, just knowing that that I really trust both of you from a professional standpoint and friendship. And then hearing, Lisa, the story of your son, that really caught my attention, as well. And I just love helping people. And Kristin, you hit the nail on the head. It's a pay it forward type mentality, I've had. I love helping people. A couple of years ago, not the other day, I was in a grocery store, and the lady in front of me couldn't quite pay for all of her groceries. And, I gave her money, and little things like that, little touches on the way. And then, of course, I thought, well, if I'm going to be sharing these stories, my product, making some money might be kind of fun too. So I can't deny that I want to make some money, right? Who doesn't on this call? So those are the main things that really caught my attention.
Well, and one of the things that really impressed me, Wendy, is that you've been 100% coachable and trainable. And you've really just kind of adjusted to the system, initially working with Kristin, and then Kristin was in California with her mom, kind of worked vacation, but she was not really available. And so you and I worked together, and what I want you to tell people kind of what you've done to get to associate, which we're super proud and we're recognizing you. Sometimes the toughest rank is to get to associate, where you have one person who's using an auto ship on each side. And so tell me what you've done in order to hit that rank.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with a quote that I actually was on one of the Zilis training calls. And it says, first of all, let go of the fear of knowing what you are doing, right? So I'm going to start with what you don't want to do, which I did in another nutritional company. I did the opposite of that quote. I wanted to know everything. I thought I had to know all about the products, the comp plan, before I could say a word, right? And where did that get me? Nowhere. I didn't use the three-way calls, which we'll talk about, because I thought, well, I can do it. Toward the end of that working with that company, I did start utilizing the three-way calls, and the light bulb finally came on, because you know it already. But really I just decided I'm going to go for it and not get in my own way. So if you want, I can just talk about what I've been doing. Is that what you want me to do? So
yeah, please.
Everybody have a pen and paper out. Take some notes here. Got it. That's the trainer in me. But no, I keep it simple. I'll give you an example. I was with my talking with my girlfriend and waiting to go see the doctor. and there was a receptionist there. And so I was waiting to go back, and the receptionist's name is Claudia. We just started chit-chatting. It's all very casual. And I just talked about, I don't even know how it really came up. Honestly, I just said I started a new project, and it's just been life-changing. And I had actually ultrasound with me, and this little product here really changed my life. It helped with a shoulder pain. And then she just all of a sudden, I said, I didn't even ask her a question. I just shut up at that point. And then she's like, well, she basically told me her most intimate issues, which is constipation. And I mean, yeah. And so I just said, well, I just started this project with my friend Lisa, who's a nurse. She's been doing it a lot longer than me. I'm brand new. I don't know much about it, but we might be able to help you with that. And she's like, I said, would you be open to getting on a short call with me and Lisa? And yes. So it was just very casual. And we just connected right away. And then the next process, what I do is Lisa's so available. I love it, but I usually like to try to find out what her availability is. And then I text Lisa with a time. And then I told Claudia, okay, here's the time that we're going to get on a 3-way call. And then once I set that up with all of us, I call Lisa 5 minutes ahead of the call, just to give her the heads up, like, this is what's going on. I just met Claudia. She can't go poo. Give a little bit of information about the, the prospect. And then I just get it started, and I merge the call, and I do a quick intro of Lisa's background and then Claudia's. And then I let Lisa take over. I shut up. I don't say a word at that point. And that's really all I've been doing.
And then you do a really good job as well of follow-up. So you're sticking with people once we decide what product makes sense for them or what path makes sense for them. Then we, you're the one that had great feedback on the question you're asking people when you follow up with them. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I say, what are some positive changes you have noticed so far? And sometimes I'll say, for example, for me, my skin has been changing. Like, I'm a bit less irritable. Maybe for you, Lisa, you don't scream at hell like you used to. I'm just kidding. No, but examples like
Amen.
that. Yeah, and Hertz donut, by the way. Sorry, that's a side note there. So funny. But yeah, just that. What positive changes have you noticed? So it's just a little play on words to really get people to think about it, and specific, like little examples, like I said, less anxious for me. I tend to use sort of my what's happening in my body, but also what I've learned too is use other people's stories, as well, and bringing that into your follow-up too.
And you've done a great job. I haven't really counted, but it's between, 6 and 10 different people between Zooms, and also phone calls that you've put on the phone with me. And, that's really where you've had your initial success. You're not even done with your fast track yet. So I just want to congratulate you, Wendy, on just kind of fast out of the gate. And I think that one of your team members, Scooby, this is her first call as well. So it's been a real delight getting to meet Scooby. And I know that this is a business that's going to be a great fit when you're introducing the people that you are closest to the business. It's, something for people that you really, really care about. And so welcome to Scooby on that. And anything else that you want to add to that, either you or Kristin?
I think I'd just like to add, like, the next step after getting people on the call is giving them just a little bit of information. And Lisa, you've reminded me to say this, like, how do you learn best, through video or you want to read something? And we talked to my nephew today, and he wants to read, both of them. And, and really prepping Lisa also, like, ahead of time. Should we talk a little business? Should we talk a little bit of product? And really kind of letting Lisa know how to steer that, that call too. And again, don't interrupt Lisa. Don't say a word, just duct tape. And then, like I said, don't overwhelm with information. And what's a good idea to do too is to let somebody know, like, today is Sunday. If they're not ready to start a product, get another date in mind. Can you watch that video by, let's say, Tuesday? Let's get you on another call and see what questions you have if they're not ready to start on anything. I've been fortunate enough that I've been kind of simultaneously getting them to start on something too. So.
And Wendy, you bossed up to buy some cases so that you could immediately, share and capture retail profit as you get people on product right now. And so
Yeah.
I thought that was a real bold move and something that's very duplicatable. It's just the faster way that you can get these cannabinoids in someone's body, the better. And if you can do the case option, obviously it's going to put more money in your pocket and allow your team to have access to your product as well. So we're excited to get to work with you, and it's fun to see all of you guys on the leaderboard. And Hal, I think you were going to summarize kind of what Kristin said before we have one other.
I just want to make, if you're taking notes, I'm still taking notes. So I don't want to repeat everything that's been said, but here's what I heard Kristin say. And she used the letter I quite a bit. And I got that, but I'm just going to repeat. So the first thing is that she really goes out intentionally, and her conversations have become intentional. She has a plan. The second is that she investigates. There's another I. So really she begins with investigation, asking questions of them. Then after that, she is identifying a need, their needs, not her needs. She's identifying. And then the fourth thing, but really in her pattern, it's the third: investigate, identify, and then invite them to something. Have an intentional invitation. But where I think that she has improved the most is to invite them to an introduction. She makes an introduction to one of her partners. She may, in the moment, if it makes sense, introduce them to a product. But most of the time, it's introduced to a partner so that she then becomes the silent voice. And then in all of that, if you give too much information, you're taking away the intrigue. You're delivering too much information, and you want people to have an intrigue about you, what you have to offer, what you're doing, about the potential for them. So anyway, those are the things that I heard her say, and I want to steal that and like teach it on a national world stage. But that was brilliant, and that's what I heard you say. And I just wanted to make sure other people got those eyes kind of in that mindset. So anyway, thank you for teaching me tonight and to put it in that order.
Kristin, any last words? Because we're going to shift here and interview one other person.
No, thank you. Just thank you for the community and the culture. And I love those I words and those C things. They just make a lot of sense. And thanks for catching that. If maybe we could expand on that training together.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
Keep up the good work, Kristin and Eric. And one of the things that Hal and I really love doing is just catching our team doing amazing things. And you guys, I know you're all doing courageous and wonderful things, and sometimes not sharing them with me. But Kristina Durham happened to text me, and she's been doing a lot with travel. So she's leading with both cannabinoids and travel. And
she's been traveling.
And she's been traveling. So she's going to talk about that a little bit. But she really impressed me. She's like, hey, are you there? And she had somebody already on the line for a 3-way phone call. And she did just a great, very powerful validation call with me. And it was brief, but it kind of came out of nowhere. Kristina's been in the business, she's very experienced, but she still called and brought me into the conversation. So Kristina, I wrote down that I wanted to give you kudos for that 3-way call.
Thank you.
Also, you did a great job setting it up and had some interesting conversation with the person. And I wanted you to kind of share a little bit about that with us.
So I had actually met her probably 7 or 8 weeks ago at a vendor show. So she tried topical back then. She won our card actually that we used as a giveaway. So that automatically kind of opened things up. We had some difficulty getting it activated and had to get Rob involved in that while they were on a trip. So it kind of all spun around that to start with. And her and I have kind of been going back and forth. She sent me a message and said, I definitely want to try the topical, but she had lost a pet and just life got in the way. We went on vacation, and when we got back, I was going through my list and just touching base on people yesterday, just that I wanted to say hi to and just check and see where everybody was at. And she immediately sent back and said, I want to get on topical. I want to get the topical. And I said, okay. So I gave her a call. She is an ex-officer. So she follows, falls into the Patriot program, which is completely new to me. In a sense, I've never signed anybody. I haven't really had those conversations with too many people. So I called Lisa because I wasn't for sure how the packages broke down. And Lisa said, the wholesale customer, these are the products that she can get. This is the price, and kind of rolled that up. And she ended the conversation with, well, if you are looking, to do anything more with Zilis, we'd be more than happy to have that call with you as well, and kind of left it at that. And she said, thank you. And the conversation kicked back over, just her and I figuring out how to do the ID me thing. That was interesting to walk through. She did get verification today, by the way. So, so we've got a call set up for noon tomorrow to get her on products. But when it kicked back over, she's done a couple MLM companies before. She's actually in one now. And her first question after we got off the phone was, so what's the compensation plan look like? And that was her very next question. I was like, crap, I had Lisa on the phone. But we hadn't even went into that yet, because I was just trying to diagnose what her problems are, what her financial situation looked like, and products. But what stuck out to me, her boyfriend had just got laid off from his job. And she told me, she said, just because, his finances stop doesn't mean my pain does. And I said, I completely understand that. So that really, even though they've kind of got this financial situation on their side that she's figuring out how to hurdle through, you open that door. And that's part of that conversation that we're going to have tomorrow, is a little bit about what the business looks like. I really just went into the basics of what the compensation plan is, blessing bonus, Jeep, insurance. And that's where she stopped me, because she's like, with the company I'm with now, if I were to jump out of that and do full time, I would completely lose my insurance, and I would never have that again with the company that I'm with, unless, I got another job that had that. So that really stuck out to her. That's one thing that I am so glad Zilis does and rolls into that package for us, because it really does make living life out here, doing a job that you love, attainable when you have insurance that, you can work towards. So that really is exciting for her. For me, we're working that way too. So.
And Kristina, how did you ask? Because you said something to her about just how her finances were. I thought it was just a really respectful way to kind of investigate which recommendation to make. How did you do that?
I told, and that's exactly kind of what I told her. I said, we've got some options on how we can break down products. Some of them, we can help stretch things a little bit more. Or, like the glow is just 30 days right in the pack. I said, so I just want to know, what do your finances kind of look like? So that way we can gauge what products would be the best for you and, what your needs are right now. So, and it really was just that. And that's when I found out about, her boyfriend being laid off and everything. Up until then, we hadn't had that part of the conversation. So it really did open up more to her story and made it easier to kind of see how we can really help her, not just with product, being she has done other MLMs. She really believed in some of the products, but not in some of the others. So it was hard for her to back that. We all know what Zilis does. So I'm really excited to get her on product, because I think with her being, an officer, she really has a clientele to be able to tap into that I don't have any access to. So I really think that would be a really good thing down the road, if that's what she chooses to do as well. So I'm excited about it.
Well, we just saw Chris come into the frame. So hello to Chris as well. And Kristina, just the last thing that really, really impressed me is that you sent me your goals.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing your goals? Just because I was like, that's pretty impressive that you're thinking about goals and wanting to have accountability. So share your goals with us.
Let me find you real quick, because I haven't been able to write it down on the board just yet. So I'm actually in an online boutique through Facebook, been there for a while. It's one of the things that they kind of ask every month. And I have honestly kind of skipped over it for the last few months. And it just really, with the travel program, using that, seeing the benefit of it, knowing what the products do for us. I mean, it just relit something in me. Chris is going into a new job this week. He starts tomorrow. So I love him and I love us being home together, but I'm ready to get back into my routine. So it just really was able to kind of reset things. So my goal is, I said, I want to help 3 people this month to use our Lifestyle Voyager program to plan a trip. I want to help 2 people sign up for the program and use it for themselves or their friends. I want to find a new travel agent to train alongside of me. And I've actually been able to make a connection through that. And Rob's going to help that conversation. So I may already have that one checked off by the end of the month, I'm hoping. Get a retail venue to sign as the Zilis ambassador. Get 2 new customers using their products. And then for me to get 2 new Thrive referrals. That's a program I've decided to use to help wrap everything together with the business. And if I can get referrals with them, I get my time free. So so that's kind of rolled into that package now because it's just a part of the incentive.
Well, I just was impressed with that, and I wrote those down just because it's a nice thing to be able to kind of break it down, because as the lease has more products and now, you know, a whole new division, it gives us an opportunity, you know, to kind of decide what we're passionate about. And if you're doing both travel and the cannabinoid-based wellness products, then it becomes a little bit more confusing as to how do you actually market and promote both sides of the business. So I think that was a really good overview of kind of how you're doing that and how you're approaching that.
If it fits for you, that's how you do it. And for some people, it does. There are some people that doing both with equal or fairly equal energy, it fits for them. And it doesn't fit for everyone. It really doesn't. But it's an opportunity. I keep going back to what Brian Welch said at the first summit that we had way back several months ago during the break. He said, Zilis provides basically a platform with multiple opportunities. What you do with that opportunity is truly up to you. There are principles you have to follow to be successful, but what you latch a hold of is Zilis gives you the opportunity to do with it what you want. And so I know some people are like, oh, the travel is not for me. And so that's fine. Just find your, like Lisa said on our training, find your hero product or find the part of the platform that's kind of the hero message for you. And so anyway, this is just that. And I want to say, you told your story just now, I heard a lot of those eyes. You operated with intention. You have some intention for your goal this month. You investigated what that person needed from the show. You identified their need, and then you made the introduction to Lisa. And then you have been, and here's another I that she actually said, Kristin said, was to invest. You invested some more time in that person. And so that's just another I that was in there. And you've done all of that. So without having Kristin's notes, Kristina, that's what she's been doing. So
I want to applaud you, Kristina, and also, you know, Wendy and Kristin and all of you guys who are doing this on a daily basis that I didn't even name, but really just serving people. And that journey of finding that definite chief aim for me and for Hal, it's all about service. I've always been very passionate about wellness, having grown up in sick care and reactionary medicine. What I love about Zilis is, and really this platform, is just the ability to help people prevent so much and really correct a lot of deficiencies that they're suffering from. But what I now really love even more is that you don't have to have a healthcare background to actually take part in building a team. And I love that about travel, is that it's an easier conversation to talk travel. And people have an interest in travel that might have no interest in cannabinoids. So I think it makes us better. It makes us stronger, even if we choose to only focus on a small piece of that. But it really comes down to your passion and your why. And one of the books that has been most impactful for me, I read it really early in the pandemic when there was so much fear in the world. It was really about Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. How many of you guys, I can see most of you, how many of you guys have read this book? Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. I want you to write it down. It is one of the 10 most influential books in America and probably in the world.
Probably in the world.
Probably in the
It's a
world.
world book for sure.
But the quote that I highlight and I go back to often is that he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. And so I think that we have to be very aware of, our DNA, what God programmed us to be and do in the world. And Zilis can be a big part of that, or it can be a small part of that. And either way, we are totally honored to get to work with those people, because as we have new friends, as we have new associates, as Wendy, as Scooby, as Kimberly, and we love the people who are already, I'm not going to say old associates, but our wonderful team who's been here every single week in out through the pandemic. You guys, all of you all have a really, really important role in all of our lives. And it's not just the people we bring in, it's the people who really lock arms. And it's just our total joy to get to do this with you guys. And I love meeting the people that you bring to us. I don't know
Yeah,
Hal feels the same way.
I do. And on that book and that quote about having the why, I think that if you will read that book and you've heard that quote before, in any front, at any point from any person or any idea, and you've not really read this particular book, if you'll read it, you will understand that quote at a much, much deeper, impactful level for yourself. Because the why in this book is not about the things that you get, the things that you want to do. It's really much, much deeper. And I would really encourage, it is one of the most significant books really ever written, especially in the last over a century, probably.
Yeah.
And it's a fairly easy read. He covers some really delicate things in his life, his experience, in a way that all of it is palatable for all of us. So I think we're wrapping up, but
Yeah.
I did want to make one other comment. I took a picture of our screen tonight, and I just noticed something that, and I hope this comes across 100% positive for everyone here on the call. But I just noticed tonight that across the top of our screen, we have 4 couples sitting side by side. That's what we see. We see the Workmeisters, we see Hal and Lisa, we see the Todds, we see Eric and Kristin. And then I also know that even in the background, probably John Poole is lurking somewhere behind Pat off screen. Many of you know John. Of course, I see Chris right there below the Workmeisters on the screen. And Chris has engaged in a new and unique way. He started out, wasn't even going to talk to anybody, standing in the back of the room. And now he and I are talking on a regular basis, and he's gone through a major, major life decision for him with his work. I'm really proud of the decision he's made, because it's a courageous move for him with his work. But there's several of you who don't have that partner in life, even in your home necessarily, that you can do these things with, or you've recently lost someone. But as I look here at the screen, of course, I see Beth there, and probably Greg's lurking around, Moonjumper somewhere around. I'm really proud of our team. This picture here of all the couples being together, if there is a partner couple involved, again, you don't have to do that. It's really pretty unique to have this many couples being together. I do think it is an outflow of our relationship. Honestly, I think what Lisa and I bring to this team working together, I think is a real, a positive thing, even beyond what we're doing just with Zilis and this platform. But I was like, I got to take a picture of this screen tonight. All these couples on here on Labor Day weekend. And again, it's not that you have to have a couple or anything like that, but it's a very healthy team when you have this many couples working together. Let me just say it that way. And so, anyway, I hope that everyone can take that as a very positive and wonderful thing as a team. So,
Well, and even if somebody doesn't have that partner, that's what we're here for as well. So, I work really closely with Susan, and I work really closely, with Judy. And so we want to fill the gap for those of you who feel like they don't have an immediate partner. That's really kind of what we do, is we help you find that. And there's nothing more lonely than feeling like you're kind of all alone in the heaviness of the mission that we feel in this business. But there's nothing more exhilarating than starting to build that team and I know Susan Everett, how excited that she was when her sister Judy joined her team. And she'll deny it, but it's true that she truly, feels, just that her sister said, yes, it wasn't immediate, but over time she joined her and has been an amazing partner. So don't give up on people. And also just want to mention in closing, before we stop the recording, that this month, if you haven't heard, they're actually doing another contest where you are actually going to potentially earn double Fast Start bonuses. So I've posted all these slides on Team Unlimited, but basically, wholesale bronze, silver, gold, anybody that you enroll with a kit, you get points for it. And when you reach 50 points, they're going to add 50% to your Fast Start bonuses for those enrollments. At 75 points, they're 75% increased Fast Start bonus. But if you get 100 points from your enrollments this month, they're going to double your Fast Start bonus.
so what does that mean? You know
More-
what that boils down to? So typically we get paid as part of the pay structure for each person that we onboard into a position of wholesale, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, whatever. They pay us what's called a Fast Start bonus. And we get paid that, and it's in our weekly check. This month, they're going to double the amount that they pay you when you enroll those people. So, same work, double pay. Who wouldn't want that, right? Same work, double pay. That's it. Plus you get more BV, right? Is that correct?
No, it's
Or
just the Fast
pay?
Start. That's
Okay.
just the pay. Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, I thought that was, noteworthy. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And let's see.